Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Seance at the Whitney, where your presence is requested at a convening of spirits. This is day 27, folks. We made it almost to the end of the month. Can you believe it? I can't. Here's our handy dandy schedule. You guys got this memorized by now. I don't need to remind you. And, we don't really stay on track much anyway. The Seance at the Whitney is an interactive indie author virtual book festival featuring author readings every night, a really silly improv murder mystery game, and we give away books every night. So this is a lot of fun. These are all the authors. Please go find their work, go find their books, read them, buy them as gifts, review them, help support your local indie author. Tonight, we have two astounding authors reading for you. MJ Crushivers is reading, and Donna Newman is reading. And just because she didn't get enough of it all day long, Donna Newman gets to go first. Aren't you happy about that, Donna? I know you wanted to share your screen to share your book with us tonight. Please feel free to go ahead and do that. And when you are ready, take the microphone and read aloud.
All right, here we go. It was the last day of school before winter break. Annie couldn't wait for the day to end, even though it was just beginning. On the bus to school, Maggie asked Annie, "Guess what? Last night we decorated our Christmas tree. Did you get your tree yet?" "No," Annie said. "No, but it's almost Christmas." "I know," Annie said, "but my family doesn't put up a Christmas tree." Maggie's eyes grew wide. "How can you celebrate Christmas without a tree?" "We don't celebrate Christmas," Annie said. "Really?" Maggie said. "That's weird. I thought everyone celebrated Christmas." Annie looked out the window, hoping the day would end quickly. When the bus arrived at school, Annie pushed her way off and ran inside before Maggie could ask her any more questions about Christmas. When she got to her cubby, Annie saw CJ eating something from his backpack. "What are you eating?" she asked. "Guilt," CJ said. "I got it last night for Hanukkah. It was the first time I got to light the menorah. Mom said I was finally big enough. Pretty cool. What did you get for Hanukkah?" "Nothing," Annie mumbled. Annie put her stuff away and walked into the classroom. Christina waved at Annie to come sit by her. "How do you spell mascara?" she asked. I'm writing my letter to Santa and I want to ask for some glitter mascara and lipstick." "I don't know. Sound it out," Annie barked, putting her books down. "Did you write your letter yet?" Christina asked. "No," Annie said firmly. "Why not?" Christina was confused by Annie's bad mood. "I don't get gifts from Santa." "You don't get gifts from Santa? Do you get gifts for Hanukkah?" "No," Annie said. "I don't get presents, okay?" "Really? No presents? That's weird. I thought everyone got presents. Maybe you need to be nicer and then you would get presents." Annie opened her book and tried to ignore Christina. She really couldn't wait for the day to end. At lunch, Annie didn't want to sit with anyone. She was tired of the questions about presents and why she didn't get any. Campbell didn't seem to notice Annie's bad mood as he sat across from her. He was humming Jingle Bells. "I love Christmas songs," Campbell said. "Don't you?" Annie ignored the question and kept eating. "Do you know what you want from Santa?" Annie just kept on eating her lunch. "Are you okay?" Campbell asked. "I'm fine. I don't listen to Christmas music and I don't get presents from Santa." "Really? But do you?" "And I don't get presents for Hanukkah either," Annie interrupted. She got up and left the cafeteria. Annie was hoping for outdoor recess so she could find a spot away from her friends, but it began to rain, which meant recess was inside. She looked around the room and saw Michael playing with the blocks. He didn't usually talk to Annie, so she figured he'd be good to play with. "Can I play with you?" she asked. Michael looked up and smiled. "Sure." "Please don't ask me any questions," Annie thought as she sat down. But as soon as she hit the floor, Michael leaned over and whispered to her, "Why don't you get presents?" Annie sighed. "I don't celebrate holidays," she said in her best calm indoor voice. But she must have said it louder than she thought because now the whole room was looking at her. Christopher called out, "Do you celebrate Kwanzaa? My neighbors celebrate Kwanzaa and they invited our family over for a feast. The food was awesome." "No, I don't celebrate anything." The room got very quiet and everyone started whispering to one another. Annie's cheeks got redder than a beet as she heard what they were saying. He doesn't celebrate anything? No presents? Her family is so weird. Annie wanted to cry and scream at the same time. For the rest of the day, Annie tried her best to ignore the excitement of her classmates as they talked about their holiday plans, but she couldn't help wonder if maybe they were right. Maybe my family is weird. School finally ended and Annie rode the bus home. When she got to her stop, her older brother Lee was waiting for her at the curb. Hurry up, Annie, he called out. We're going to be late. For what? Don't be silly. We gotta go. Mom and Dad are waiting in the car. Where are we going? Annie asked, trying to pull his hand off her arm. Then she remembered. We're going to go see Granny and Pappy, my favorite place to visit in the whole wide world. She broke free from Lee and ran to the car as fast as she could. Last one to the car has to sit in the middle. The road trip to Granny and Pappy's took 2 full days, but it was always fun. Mom led sing-alongs and Dad told jokes. We always stayed at the same hotel with the indoor pool and always stopped at their favorite restaurant for ferret soup. Granny's and Pappy's house was a cabin deep in the woods. Annie's two cousins, Dean and Dorothy, lived next door. There were always a ton of snow in winter. As soon as the car stopped at the end of the long driveway, Annie jumped out and gave everyone hugs. Then she grabbed a sled to slide down her favorite hill. She walked her sled up the hill. Annie noticed that Pappy had built a giant snow fort. That will be fun, she thought. Dean and Dorothy were already building snowmen. Annie couldn't wait for the annual snowball fight they had every year. Even Granny and Pappy would join in. As she got to the top of the hill and looked around, Annie thought about all the kids at school and wondered, is this really that weird? That night, Uncle and Dad built a giant bonfire and everyone sat around drinking hot cocoa. Granny always remembered that Annie liked 10 mini marshmallows in her cup. This isn't so weird, Annie thought, as she sipped the warm cocoa and felt Granny kiss the top of her head. The rest of the week, they got to eat all their favorite family foods: asparagus tacos, vegetable stew, green bean casserole, and Granny's famous carrot cake. This is definitely not weird, Annie thought, almost every day. This is awesome. On the last night, while Annie was snuggled on Pappy's lap in front of the bonfire, he said something to her that she would never forget. I know we don't celebrate any holidays, Annie, but we do celebrate our family. You don't get any presents wrapped in boxes. You do get the gifts of love and togetherness. We don't decorate a tree or light a menorah, but we have our own traditions that we do together. I think it's the most wonderful time of the year. I hope you do too. But Annie realized she did. The end.
Fantastic. Well done. I always love that. That last page always gives me goosebumps. It's just so cool. Thank you so much for your wonderful reading, Donna. Okay, Miranda, you are up next. You have a copy of your book. There it is. Katrina's Dark Journey. When you are ready, please, Miranda, take the microphone and read aloud. Oh, you have to turn your microphone on. You're still muted, my dear.
Thank you.
There you go. Now you can read.
1918, February, Halbstadt-Malachna Colony, Ukraine. The window rattled. Katerina bolted upright in bed. In a split second, she'd gone from a dead sleep to wide awake. Now her heart thumped wildly, her forearms tingled, and her ears hurt as if the air had just been sucked out of the room. She was certain the bed had moved. That was impossible. It must have been a nightmare. Across the room, a thin band of morning light peeked between the gap of the navy floral curtains. It was almost time to get up, but since her heart was still racing, she snuggled back under the weighted wool comforter and buried her face in the pillow. A sharp crack on the roof preceded the rolling sound of a sheet of ice cascading down the side of the house. It crashed past her second-story window and shattered on the ground below. She groaned and pulled the duvet over her head. Seconds later, a loud boom blasted in the distance, and a series of cracking and popping sounds followed. Katerina flung back the blankets and sat up, snarling. Blasted hunters, shooting up the sky and waking up the world. What are they doing? Blowing up bridges? Scratching the sand from her blue eyes, she slipped out of bed, wiggled into her sheepskin slippers, and retrieved her white velvet robe from its scrunched spot between the mattress and the hand-carved oaken footboard. Then she slept to the window and yanked open the heavy curtains, hoping to spot the offenders of the obtrusive wake-up call. But all she could see were the smoky white puffs dotting the pink horizon and clear blue skies hanging over the snow-covered sunflower fields. Yet she sensed something was wrong. She tore apart her ash blonde braid and went to the Delft basin to wash up and brush her hair. While finishing her ablutions and rebraiding her waist-length locks, another explosion shook the house, and a slow tremor vibrated across the floor. This isn't good. Muttering to herself, she returned to the window to appraise the goings-on with a more critical eye. A hay wagon sat in its place under the sleeping apple trees with the hand plow on its back, both buried in snow. The hedge of stately spruce trees lining the long circular driveway sparkled majestically with the fresh white coating on their branches. Despite constraining the effects of the wintry winds, they obscured the northern skyline over the neighboring fields. Ugh, I can't see a thing, she groaned. She picked up her toothbrush and cup from the washstand and headed down the hall to the newly constructed toileting room, but immediately bumped into Kiva, the scullery maid, her arms laden with pillowcases. A bright red kerchief covered the servant's puffy brown hair. Katerina was about to confront the servant on her inappropriate dress and ask about the pillowcase contents when Kiva said, "Best hurry, Anna's waiting," and breezed by without stopping or clarifying. Katerina stared open-mouthed as the maid disappeared down the hall. She didn't even say good morning. How rude. Where's she going in such a hurry? Mumbling to herself, Katerina stomped down the hallway to the commode. She discussed the disrespect with her sister Anna at breakfast. In the middle of brushing her teeth, a fervent knocking accompanied Anna's impatient tone. "Katerina!" Katerina groaned and spit into the cup. Her sister's urgent bathroom trips were becoming a nuisance. As far as she was concerned, the baby couldn't arrive soon enough. "1 second. She straightened her robe and inhaled deeply, then blew it out slowly. Today's rough start could not ruin her day. Despite the angst of war hanging in the air and the rumors of soldiers pushing into the territory, she still had to maintain a cheerful decorum in the classroom. Only yesterday, she reminded her students that the grim situation wasn't in their control, but keeping them focused on their studies was challenging. Everyone was worried. War, guns, the noise. A chill passed through her. The hair on the back of her neck bristled and her toothbrush dropped to the floor. It can't be. Not here. "Katerina, we need to leave now," Anna's knock repeated. "Good grief, 1 second, I said." Katerina picked up her toiletries and opened the door to a frazzled-looking Anna, fully dressed in winter garb and holding a large traveling bag. Her neatly trimmed blonde eyebrows furrowed together in a worried frown, her thin lips stretched tight in a straight line, and her pale face whiter than usual. "What do you mean, leave now? Is the clock broken? According to the chimes, I still have an hour before school. Are you heading into town too?" Katerina scanned her sister's bulky outfit. The center large button clasping the old-fashioned sheepskin coat over Anna's swollen belly strained to tear away from the leather. "You really should fix that button before you go anywhere. It's about to pop." Katerina pointed at the straining thread. "Why aren't you wearing your wool coat? It fits so much better." "This is the warmest thing I own. And why aren't you dressed yet?" Anna snapped. Katerina bit her lip to keep from joking about the odd outfit. It puffed out in 2 V shapes above and below the feeble fastening. The black skirts balloon below the coat, draping the wooden floor like a dust mop, and the oversized white wool scarf wrapped around her neck and shoulders dwarfed Anna's pixie face. Only a few strands of her honey blonde hair poked out from beneath the white and red flowered kerchief tied underneath her chin. On top of the babushka, Anna wore her favorite black felt hat with the family's emblem of 3 white roses stitched on the wide brim, untied, with the strings hanging over her ears. Although the clownish costume was completely out of character for her sister's usual fashion sense, Anna's serious expression explained it as intentional. Katerina held her tongue and only said, "You shouldn't wear white against your face, Anna. It makes you look ill." Anna's eyes flickered with annoyance and the muscles in her jaw clenched. "Katerina, stop playing around. We must leave now." "Why? What's the problem? And what's that noise?" Katerina asked as another boom blasted in the distance. "We're being bombed. Now hurry. Get dressed and pack your bags. We must leave now." Anna grabbed her by the arm. "Come." Bombs. The children spoke of soldiers heading this way. Katerina shivered. "No, it can't be true." She dried her hands on her robe as Anna dragged her down the hall. "What do you mean, bombed? By whom?" Bolshevik soldiers in the village. Did the servants wake you? Anna scowled. No, Katerina frowned. I saw Kiva in the hallway, but she said nothing. And no one woke me up. Tisk, tisk, Anna clucked as she shoved Katerina into her bedroom. I can't believe this. I told Kiva to wake you up. What is wrong with the servants these days? No one listens to me anymore. Listen, there's no time to explain. Layer up your warmest clothes. Oleg is getting the sleigh ready. Get dressed and packed. Hurry. I'm confused. Why do we have to leave? Is the estate in trouble? We have armed guards all around the perimeter.
Trump's first impeachment, describing how our faith in our own democracy is kind of
strand into place. It's supposed to be well protected from invaders. No, I told you, Anna snapped her fingers in the air. Schnell, schnell, hop to it. Meet us in the sleigh and throw a few extra clothes in a bag. And take all your valuables, especially your jewelry. We could be gone for a few days, or weeks even. Anna waddled to the hall, then turned around and said firmly, This is not a game, Katerina. War has arrived. This is life and death. We must leave now. Katerina stood with her mouth agape as Anna disappeared down the stairs. Had war really arrived at their doorstep? That was ridiculous. The peace talks were ongoing at Brest-Litovsk. The war was almost over. Why would the Red Army want to destroy the Mennonite villages now? They weren't anybody's enemies. Everyone knew the peaceful community didn't have the firepower to fight back, and that they wouldn't, even if they did. Yet she knew that war had no logic. Power-hungry forces trapped ordinary people in their violent clashes. Those who didn't choose a side were assigned one. Amid the battle, neutral innocents became guilty opponents and were sentenced to death. And today, she and Anna were two unremarkable women in such life-threatening circumstances. This was real world, not a clipping from their cousin Rieger's weekly newspaper. As the gravity of the situation dawned on Katerina, her eyes widened. This is war. They've come to kill us.
Wow, what an intense reading. Thank you ever so much, Miranda. Well done. Thank you, ladies, both for your readings tonight. Miranda, if you could hold up your book one more time for everybody to see. Katerina's Dark Journey. It's kind of hard. Those digital backgrounds are tricky.
Yeah, they're hard. Yes, you can see it on the right part of the screen there.
Also, Donna, do you have a copy of yours you can hold up for us? There it is. I don't celebrate anything. If you guys are interested in these books and all the books you've heard during our seance at the Whitney, just jump on to pagespromotions.com right up there. And you can find the yearbook with all of the book covers and links directly to learn more about these amazing authors and their stories. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is time once again. Melinda, if you will, please help us remember what it is we're doing this month.
The Seance at the Whitney. At the Ghost Bar inside the Whitney Manor, an historic Detroit estate, a world-famous psychic medium has come for an exclusive, invitation-only seance. With so many curious about spiritualism around the world, this event promises to connect the living and the spirit worlds, opening doors to mysteries that transcend time and space. But when the seance spirals into a chilling rendezvous with a vengeful spirit and a shocking murder, it falls upon those in attendance to unravel the truths hidden in the darkest depths of the past. A spirit is summoned, vowing revenge on their killer. One of the guests becomes hysterical, claiming the spirit is there for them. Suddenly, the lights start flickering, and wind pushes the windows open, extinguishing the candles around the room. The room and everyone in it are thrust into darkness. When the light returns, that same hysterical guest is lying on the floor, dead. Who killed them? Why? Was it the furious spirit or something far more earthly?
And thank you, Melinda. You can narrate my books any day you like. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you stepping in for me on the recap tonight. Your cast of characters, folks, we're almost done with this. The medium is the great Christopher Gare. His assistant is Donna Newman. The author is Amy Kelso. The socialite Don Menge is not in the room this evening. The spouse of our dearly departed Richard is Jules Nelson. The fan, the biggest fan of the great Christopher, is Marianne Wieland. The aloof guest is Gary Floyd. Our maitre d' at the Whitney is Melinda Falgo, and I am your storyteller. Welcome back, everybody. We have to start wrapping up the details. We have to start figuring out who done did it. So I invite you all to turn on your microphones and let's get into the interrogation session. I am hopeful that those of you who have entered the room tonight to aid us in solving this mystery have reviewed the replays and the extras found on our Facebook page. All right, who would like to begin the silliness this evening? Donna Newman, go.
So I want you to know that I went into the bathroom and I was a little distressed. I don't know who put this on the mirror, but I know it was meant for me. It says, I know about Eastern State, and I want to know who knows about Eastern State, because I have been very quiet. Even the great Christopher doesn't know that I was in Eastern State Hospital. So I'm
Can I
trying to
see
figure
that
out
picture?
who might know.
Yeah, can you?
Hold
Who
it still.
wrote it on the mirror?
Oh my gosh.
Is it?
Interesting. Eastern
Oh, I'm
State Hospital, is that what that is?
it says, oh no, it says I know at Eastern State, and I was in Eastern State Hospital, so I'm figuring that that's what it's talking about, and I want to know who knows about it. I don't know if it's somebody real or if it's somebody like a ghost, but I'm very disturbed that somebody wrote that on the mirror. And so when I went into the bathroom, that's the first thing I saw, and it brought up a lot of memories from me. And I hope that it was a ghost and it wasn't somebody real. I mean, I hope it was a ghost and not somebody in the room.
Christopher, do you have anything to say about that? Did you know Donna was in the hospital?
First of all, Donna, take a gummy. Second, not to my knowledge. I did not know.
All right. We didn't really give you an opportunity to speak much last night, Christopher. We were kind of steamrolling you a little bit. Do you have anything to add that you didn't get a chance to venture with yesterday?
Oh, do I?
I kind of thought so.
Uh-oh.
I have been meditating and speaking with Donna and, dear God, 27 days of this. Allow me to say that Darwin would be proud of you all. Donna and I are stumped how you made it this far in life. Jules or Dirty Harriet? Unlucky femme fatale? Maybe. She's a woman who fires a loaded weapon, like her husband did when they tried to conceive. And they both missed. He loved her husband despite his being in love with Nora? Despite her having to go around trying to quiet people? Honey, take a closer look at your mind. The gates are down, the lights are flashing, there's no train coming. Speaking of loaded weapons, I had the good fortune to stumble across the Brazilian maid and ask him a few questions. It turns out the part of him that does the most talking is an appendage. So the interview went something like, in the immortal words of Robin Williams, Mr. Phallus, can you tell us what you saw on the night in question? Well, it was light, it was dark, it was light, it was dark. Useless. And the staff all say Melinda walks around saying, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, when she does something wrong. Honey, why apologize for who you are? On the subject of coitus, we have Marianne, a woman who had drinks with my stunt double, who incidentally quit shortly after and actually accepted a job at Boone's Farm. He said Marianne kept asking him, do you like my body? Is it hot enough for you? How can I have a hotter body? Easy, cremation. What's the best part about old age? It doesn't last long. Gary Floyd. I'm not convinced Gary even exists. After all, what have we learned about Gary? Almost nothing. All spirit and no flesh. He's a man so shallow he lacks depth perception. I'm not convinced we haven't all been hypnotized into thinking he exists. Maybe that's why we can all see him, her, they, them. Also, She's an author who stole her ideas from people who disappeared or died and wonders why everyone doubts her sincerity. It doesn't help this is a woman who was stopped by the Grosse Pointe police for describing 4- and 5-year-olds as speed bumps. If Mr. Rogers lived in your neighborhood, he'd move. You make Deborah Reed look compassionate. Finally, Madam Storyteller, what exactly have you given us? A seating chart nobody truly knows who created, a family tree and map of tunnels with nothing but red herrings so large and juicy that Mary Ann's stomach has been growling ever since. What have you really told us? Nothing. You're like a lighthouse in the middle of the desert. Bright, but not a lot of use. Let's be honest, Richard wasn't murdered, he escaped, and can we blame him?
Sleep last night, Christopher.
He slept on it.
That's what we get for letting him sleep.
And that's the Christopher we all know. Okay.
He's back, folks.
Oh.
He's back. Okay. Inhale, exhale. Justine, go ahead.
Hi, my question is for Amy.
Yeah.
Amy, when you brought the crystal ball from where it was by the well, what did you do between taking it from there and bringing it to the room? Were there any stops?
No, I was bringing it into the Whitney. I brought it up to the 3rd floor because my room is in the 3rd floor too. I was going to take it to my room when I realized, oh, wait, everyone's in the foyer. I have to go. So I just set it on the mantle, rushed down to the foyer to have the amazing hors d'oeuvres I thought we were going to have. Realized it was just peanuts. I could have taken the time to put the ball away, but I didn't because I thought we were going to have something fancy in the foyer.
Okay, quick follow-up then.
Yes.
Does anybody see, is there dirt on the crystal ball that was buried under the ground?
I didn't see any dirt on it, but then I didn't look very closely. Did anybody else happen to notice? Donna or Christopher, would you guys have noticed something was amiss with the crystal ball?
Anybody wash the crystal balls?
That was where I was going with this, yes.
I had gloves on, so
You had gloves on. Did
it
you?
felt the same as it always does.
Hey,
Velvety
So,
smooth.
when I was bringing the ball back, I may have been rubbing it a little on the way back.
I'm not allowed to touch the great Christopher's ball, so if it was clean, it would have been
And just to be clear,
Hold on, Amy.
this was not the great Christopher's ball. This was a different ball, okay?
You should treat all
I'm
balls the
definitely
same.
not touching that one.
Not the great Christopher's one. No.
okay, all right. I think we've covered that question. Mark McCraw, go ahead. Mark McCraw, turn on your microphone, sir. Did you have your hand up?
There
Yep,
we
go
go.
ahead.
So Mary Ann, I know that you've been wanting to get closer and closer to the great Christopher. Are you harassing Donna with putting stuff on our mirror and stuff like that just so you can get closer to the great Christopher?
Absolutely not. Although I will say, I am pretty sure that the hired help is not what she's cracked up to be. I will tell you that.
I'd say the hired help might be a little cracked. Wolf, go ahead.
Marianne,
Yes.
there a connection between your family and Clyde Brookson's family, the owner of the necklace?
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay, that's like only the 4th time this month Marianne has actually responded in silence.
The great Christopher has left me speechless,
You sure it wasn't his double?
but not for long.
Jennifer Rains, go ahead.
My question's for Andrew. Are you the Brazilian maid?
Not as far as I know, but I'm working up to it. I'm willing to learn.
We could
Andrew.
teach you.
Have you had the
Okay.
Brazilian wax?
That's my question.
I have nothing to say about that, but woo, baby.
All right. Melinda Falgo, go ahead.
So I find it very, very curious. As I frequently do staff background checks when people apply to work at the Whitney. I'm very, very thorough, by the way. And in all of that process, I have come across some information. I've had a couple of people who have maybe had a stay or two at Eastern State Hospital. And I don't know if all of you know this. Eastern State Hospital is a facility located about 20 miles outside of Spokane, Washington. And its treatment focuses on the psychiatric illness and behavioral issues, which
It's a loony
make
bin.
hospitalization necessary. I find that quite curious.
That is quite curious. Interesting. Amy Kelso, go ahead.
Well, Melinda kind of just beat me to it. I was just going to ask Donna, is the Eastern State Hospital perhaps near Seattle, which apparently it is?
Just outside Spokane. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah. So, okay.
So, Donna, now we're all curious. What was the nature of your stay at Eastern State Hospital? Why were you there?
Well, remember I told you guys my family said that I was crazy and they had me committed. And that's where they committed me. And I listened to the ghosts. Now, at that point, I didn't know they were ghosts, but I listened to the ghosts and they told me to stop taking the meds the doctors were giving me. And when I finally had a clear mind, I was able to leave without doctor's permission. And that's the reason I was living on the street, is because I'm not going to go tell my parents that I left the hospital.
So you basically escaped from your parents committing you to a psychiatric ward?
Yes, but I was there for 10 years. I was in a straitjacket. I couldn't be in the straitjacket anymore. So I stopped taking the medicine and I pretended I was taking the medicine. They took me out of the straitjacket because I was acting like they said I was acting normal, but I wasn't acting normal because I was just finally listening to the ghosts, and then I left.
Okay. Andrew, go ahead.
Donna, did the ghosts ever tell you to kill anyone?
No, the ghosts were always people, like they always were trying to tell me to do what was best for me. They were the ones who told me to stop taking the meds. At the time, they kept everybody kept telling me I was hearing voices. I thought they were, I didn't know what was going on. They've been telling me that my whole life. When I was a little kid, they would lock me in my room and tell me to stop talking crazy. So they only told me what to do to make sure that I did what was best for me.
Okay. I can see you're passionate about this topic. Wolf, go ahead.
Donna, same question to you. Do you have a connection to Clyde Berkson?
I do not believe I have a connection to him. As I said, I was born in Oregon. They sent me to Washington. I have no idea why they sent me to Washington. Actually, the ghosts tell me that the reason they put me in Washington is they didn't want anybody to know that they had me committed.
Okay, so family secrets seem to be a countrywide issue among this group. Melinda, go ahead.
So Donna, just one more question. You've been so wonderfully patient with us, and we appreciate that. But
Don't get calm down.
Did you ever have to resort to any kind of thievery or pickpocketing of any sort to sustain yourself while you were forced to live on the streets of Seattle?
Ghosts would
tell me. Were you essentially the Artful Dodger of Spokane, Washington?
Pretty much, but it wasn't my skill. It was it was my ghost. They were telling me how to. They were the one who showed me the poster of the Great Christopher, and they were the ones who said, "Hey, you should go check this guy out." And as I said, he saved my life because I realized I wasn't crazy.
Okay.
I was actually seeing ghosts.
Gary Floyd, go ahead.
I just have more of a comment on behalf of me and the other ghost. She gives me the willies.
Okay. Okay.
Said that before.
Marianne, go ahead.
Yes, I think the harpy has nailed it.
That's not all I've nailed.
The hired help, I would like to apologize for a remark that I made about the Great One possibly being a kleptomaniac. Now that we know that the hired help, Miss Newman, is a certified nutcase, I say that she's been filching all the items that she's been putting in the tote bag of the Great One. So I apologize to the Great One. Once again, I am your biggest fan.
I'm not a kleptomaniac. I'm cheap. She works cheap.
Marianne,
I
are you
know this.
For me to eat.
stunt double?
Go ahead.
Donna, are you Nora?
No, that's Gary.
Gary's Nora. Nora's
Gary's
Gary.
Nora. I'm not Nora.
You
I
can't
can
have too
see
many
him.
Noras.
I
All
didn't
right.
know who he was. I could see him, and I knew he was Nora. He said his name was Gary. So I
Okay.
listened to him.
Anyone else have any questions? Anybody? Go ahead, Justine.
That brings me to Gary. Have you remembered anything else recently that might help us along?
It comes and goes. What type of thing are you looking for?
Anything about Nora's life?
I know we spent a lot of time together with Richard and with Richard and with Amy.
Okay. Do you remember
crystal
anything
ball.
about the do you remember anything about Nora's disappearance? Your disappearance?
I was there that night.
And what did
I would
you
hope you
see?
would be.
What did you see that night?
That night is that we went down by the well, and I was trying to convince Richard to run away with me.
And what did Richard do?
He pushed me down the well.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Christopher, please speak.
What? I just was thinking 27 days. Now he's being useful.
You just didn't ask the right questions.
Amy,
I guess you weren't that great.
Okay, at the moment when we're finally getting Gary, Nora, whoever to tell us something. So, Richard pushed you down the well. Was there a gunshot that came towards you? Did it hit you? Did it kill you? What happened to you down in the well? Or were you already dead by the time you fell?
No, I was not dead. I was alive in the well.
Okay. Did you get shot? Was a gunshot, did it shoot you?
Yes, I was shot.
Was it fatal?
At least one of them was.
Okay. So you definitely did die down in the well. It was all Jules' fault. I knew it. Okay.
Wait.
Wait,
Hold
on. Christopher, go ahead.
One of them was fatal. Someone else shot you too.
Someone else was pointing down at the well.
Who?
I think it was the harpy.
Oh my gosh. I love that look on your face, Melinda. That's just priceless.
Wait.
Yeah.
Was Melinda shooting? Did Melinda shoot at you?
Yes.
Or was that the flashlight? Yes, she did.
Yes.
Okay.
With a slingshot? What?
Okay.
Probably with that gun that's supposed to be locked.
But Jules had the gun.
She came back.
Although,
Jules put it back.
Oh my God, there's an
they went
interesting
upstairs.
little piece of information. 2 visits to the well in the same evening. Donna Newman,
One of them
go
definitely
ahead.
quieted me.
Okay, so
Donna, go ahead.
So I I thought that I would like people said that I would like lose memory and I would forget things and stuff. So I'm wondering, since you guys all calling me a crackhead, Melinda, I'm gonna ask you, and then Jules, do you guys have times that you don't remember things?
Not to my knowledge.
So you don't know if you remember if you shot at Nora or not.
Nothing's coming to mind.
Right? So Jules, do you remember going back and shooting Nora a second time?
I did not.
And
I
you
just went
only
the
pulled
one
the
time.
trigger once, Jules?
I think so.
So Nora, could it have been Richard who came back and shot you?
No,
You don't think Richard would have done that?
I don't know why Richard did what Richard did.
But you don't
Yeah.
think he
I
came
did
back and
not
shot
see him
you?
again afterwards.
So,
Was it a ricochet that got you twice?
The magic bullet theory, really?
it is in the middle, the bottom of a 75-foot well, right? So
There's a lot of ricocheting around.
I don't even know if that's ballistically possible. Andrew, you're a ballistics expert. Is that possible?
How long between the shots?
Hold on,
Only,
Donna.
only if it didn't ricochet. Ricochet would take away feet per second each time it ricocheted until it wasn't possibly fatal.
So one bullet killed him. The second one missed. Is that the
Probably
only
hit
ballistics
water.
opportunity?
And it only takes about a foot of water to completely eliminate any danger.
Okay. I'm so glad you're in the room tonight. We needed that expertise. Donna, go ahead.
How long of a time lapse between the first shot and the second shot?
I'm not sure exactly how long that was. I'd have to look.
Say longer than 5 minutes?
Yes.
I can imagine that in your state of trauma, time would pass weirdly for you.
It does. It does. This whole seance has been just
weird.
This has really been traumatizing.
Surreal.
And sitting around with half of the room there that seemed like they want to bump me off, quiet me.
Okay, Melinda, go ahead.
This question is to the darling, devoted older sister, Mary Ann. Do you or any member of your immediate family that you would have access to it, do you have a gun?
Why, yes, we do have several guns. My husband is a professional mime. He has to carry a gun. People are always after him.
Does he got a silencer on it?
I carry one on me all the time. But you fired at my sister. How could you do something like that? And you say the gun has been stolen, the keys have been stolen, my ring has been stolen, all under your protection. Has anybody bothered to look into the harpy's drawers to see if she's telling the truth and if those things might still be in those drawers or in her office? You cannot trust the harpy, and my dinner never came.
I think a lot of people have been in the harpy's drawers.
Yeah, and I'm not frisking the harpy's drawers. I'm not doing that. Justine, go ahead.
Nora, what was your relationship like with your sister?
She's my older sister. She's always been high strung.
But did you get along, or?
I got along fine with her. I mean, she winds up, next you have like a guru or something, and she's off going forward with them, and then the next thing, the great Christopher comes, and she's off going with them.
Okay, all right. Donna, did you have another question?
Amy, did
Yes.
you shoot at Nora?
No, I was not even there. That's all I have to say on that.
All right. We have time for one more question. Does anybody have a last inquiry that they would like to make before we close out the room for tonight? Anybody? Oh my God, you're all speechless? Really? I don't think that's ever happened before.
All the speech is happening in the chat. Sorry.
Well, and that's 90% of the fun, guys. You got to come to the live event so you can see the chat. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Marianne had something.
Marianne
has her question.
Oh, Marianne, go ahead.
Her statement.
I do. The most important thing of all is my wedding ring. And I
That's a statement.
suspect if we look under the Brazilian maid's apron, we may find it there. I'll be glad to take that bullet. I will go and check.
She wants a bullet? Wait, we've got spares apparently.
She wants something to
I was
go
about to say
bang.
this is not the right company for that statement.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We are getting ready to wrap up tonight. This has been a lot of fun, you guys. We're really, really close to the end. Who did it? We need to, we're kind of wrapping up our questions at this point. And before, I want to do one more thing, so I hope nobody jumps out early. But before we do that, the wax drippings tonight. Let me do this pretty quickly. Amy Kelso is in first place. Christopher Gare in second. How'd you like how that happened? Like 1 point, you guys shift places. Andrew Allen Smith is in third. Deborah Reed and Jules Nelson are tied for fourth. And Marianne Whelan rounds up the top 5. Here are the wax drippings for, there we go. There's the wax drippings for everybody else. If you're wondering what your point count is, there it is. Take a look. This is also posted on the Facebook page and the website if you want to check it out. Talismans from the spirits. We're going to give away books on the spinning wheel of happiness, and then we're going to do one more fun thing because we're really close to slinging accusations. So we're going to do the spinning wheel really fast, you guys. So if you win, send me your mailing address, and we'll make sure that we get those books out to you. Let me share the spinning wheel of happiness. The first book is going to be from Donna Newman, and the second book is going to be from Miranda Shivers. I'm just checking the wheel right now to make sure everybody is in the room that is supposed to be in.
I don't think Diana's here.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Okay, everybody else seems to be in the room. Okay, so Donna's book first. Here we go. Wait, let me make sure my sound
You
works.
also have there. Never mind. Okay, you're good.
All right, good.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Donna's book. Job. See, you never know who's going to win on these things. You jump in at the end of the month and you win a book.
Somebody wanted a book from a lunatic.
All right. Now Miranda.
Spirits wrote it.
Here we go. Mark McCraw, congratulations. You won a book. Congratulations to both our winners. Remember, even if you think I already have your mailing address, make sure you send it to me at diana@pagespromotions.com so that we can be sure to get your books out to you. I want to run through real quick last couple of reminders, and then I want to do the last fun thing for the night. So don't forget, diana@pagespromotions.com. That's where you send me your mailing address. Okay. Can Dinah do it? Okay. The author yearbook is on the website. That's where everybody's books are listed that you heard from all month long. We have a couple more books to go through to share with you tomorrow and the 29th. So make sure you're here for those. And if you saw something you liked during the month, go to the website, click on the link, buy the book, don't forget, please leave reviews. We really, really, really would like to hear what you think about our work. It's how we improve, is to get your feedback. Your accusation statement. This is really important. This is due by 11 p.m. tomorrow night. If I don't have it by 11 p.m., you will not be in the contest to win the grand prize of the evening on the big reveal night. So make sure you get that in. If we have a tie with the primary motives, that's when your why statement is going to be really important. The person with the most creative why statement is going to win if we run into a tie in primary motive. The big reveal. It's the 29th. We're having the extravagant hat contest. So make sure you come to that. We're going to give away prizes. It's going to be super fun. And if you would help with a witness statement that is also on the website, that will help me to find out what I did right, what I did wrong, how I can improve for next year, and if indeed you even want to play this wacky game next year. So please take 5 minutes, go to the website and fill out that witness statement for me. Now, before we close out the evening, I want to hear one last time, instead of our traditional shots across the bow, I would like to hear in a brief, Marianne, brief single statement why you believe you are innocent of this crime. One single brief statement. Why are you innocent of this crime? Gary Floyd, we're starting with you.
Because I've been dead for 5 years.
Sounds like a good alibi to me.
Pretty good one, yeah.
Donna Newman, why are you innocent?
I have no motive for me to kill him. Ghosts help me do things, and I would only do something that would help me survive, and I don't need to because I have the great Christopher.
Okay. Melinda Falco, why are you innocent?
Have you seen The Brazilian Maid?
Okay, that's pretty succinct. Jules Nelson, why are you innocent?
I mean, I might not be innocent of some things, but I'm innocent of killing my husband because, I mean, he was the love of my life and I was so happy and proud to be married to him. So why would I do anything to jeopardize that?
That sounds logical. Marianne Wieland, why are you innocent?
Because I am Maxine Ainsworth, and that says it all. The man was a moron, and I knew sooner or later somebody would do it for me.
That's fantastic. I like your conviction. Good job. Amy Kelso, why are you innocent?
Well, as I've mentioned, I wanted Richard to help me with my books. He can't help me now that he's dead. It wouldn't make any sense for me to kill him. I needed his brain, his mind alive. Hello?
Okay. And finally, the great Christopher, why are you innocent of this crime?
I'm already great. What more do I have to aspire to?
And he left Detroit Country Day because he said the students were too egotistical.
Exactly.
Just reminding you of that little piece. I need to remind you, I am just simply your humble journalist trying to get the facts right for the general public to understand what happened here tonight. I have no motive for wanting this man dead.
Pulitzer, Nobel. I
And
mean,
no alibi
come on.
for not.
Those sound like motives to me. I mean,
You know, I don't really need those kinds of things.
Juicy column.
Well, there is that. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for participating. Tomorrow, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to take a look at a few extra details and perhaps ask a few left dangling questions. So please don't miss tomorrow. It'll be the last opportunity you have. Your accusation statements are due by 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Thank you very much for playing our game. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.